So I don't know how sort of queer-friendly this crowd is. I imagine that if you came sort of to see me, great, wonderful. Even in, well, never mind, we're not going to get political. So, maybe some of you know that sort of a big part of gay male culture is the idea of like diva worship. We have sort of like Judy Garland, Barbara Streisand, Madonna, Stevie Nicks, obviously, and even like Sandy Patty and Amy Grant, like I mentioned, the Christian queens like them. But growing up, I had two really important divas who sort of formed who I am, and their names were Flora Ann Thylacker, née Montague, my mother's mother, my Grammy, and Rosa Santina DeSilva, née Giletto, who is my father's mother. So my grandmothers, trust me, they are and were divas. Grammy, my mom's mom, is no longer with us. She died about 5 years ago. She was about 96. And my grandmom, my dad's mom, is still with us, and she's had sort of a difficult year this year. She's had some health issues. She broke her hip, and she's going through some sort of cancer treatments, but she is really still going strong. They both were very musical women. They both sang. Grandmom used to sing opera around the house with records of Anna Maffo, who's like a famous Italian-American opera singer. And my aunt, who became a classical singer after that, often said that she would sometimes be walking through the house and she couldn't tell which voice was my grandmom's and which one was the record because she had such a beautiful voice. And Grammy used to sing me old standards. She loved Judy Garland. She loved Clang, Clang, Clang with the Trolley, and Embrace Me, My Sweet Embraceable You. But she sang everything in this really, really high, bird-like soprano, so she sort of like took everything up the octave. Everything was a descant. Grammy was really mischievous. She used to, when we would go out shopping, we would lose her. She was about 4'11". She was very small. And we would lose her, and we would be looking all over for her. And we would be like walking through the clothes racks, and we would hear this like, and she would be like, she was so small that she would like go into the clothes racks and like hide from us. She also, when I was little, we used to sit, she had a house on Plumstead Ave in Lansdowne, and we used to sit up in her window, and she would just kind of like spy on all the people walking down the street, and we would just gossip, and she'd be like, what's she doing? She doesn't need to go to Wawa. She shouldn't be eating anything. She was not, she wasn't the most sort of body positive woman. She also instilled in me a love for butter and sugar. She got me to eat my first strawberry, but it was, of course, smothered in heavy cream with sugar sprinkled over it. And Grandmom was always super fun. Both of my grandmothers lost their husbands pretty young. Grandmom, my dad lost his father when his father was, I think, about 42. Sorry, my mom's my fact checker here. My grandma lost her husband really, really young, and she had 3 kids. And she had been a housewife, and then she sort of had to go to work and support these three kids. But she was always fun. She still is, actually. But I remember my favorite memory of her was when I was little. We were out in the yard, and she had this. It was the 80s, so she had this sort of like pleather black. It looked kind of like garbage bag material, like really, really shiny black pleather trench coat thing. She was very stylish. She still is. She likes gold strappy sandals, and she also likes over-accessorizing, so I come by it naturally. So she had this like big black trench coat, and she put one of my sand buckets over her head, and she's walking around going, Luke, I am your father. So she used to play Star Wars with me. So I'm getting a little lost here. So it's funny how time changes things. You grow up and these people are sort of nurturing you and taking care of you, and then you get to a certain point in your life when they need some taking care of themselves. And it's really, it was very hard to lose my Grammy, and it's been very hard to kind of see Grandmom, who is sort of mentally very, very young and vivacious, sort of lose some of her physical capacity. And growing up, they were always singing to me. They sang a lot of lullabies for me, so I would like to sing a lullaby for them. For you, there'll be no more crying. For you, the sun will be shining. 'Cause I feel that when I'm with you, it's alright. No, it's right. To you, I'll give the world. To you, I'll never be cold. 'Cause I feel that when it's alright. I know it's right. And the songbirds are singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before. And I wish you all the love in the world, but most of all, I wish it from myself. And the songbirds keep singing like they know the score. And I love you, I love you, I love you like never before. Like never before. Like never